What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 15th day of October, 2024. I'm Alana Bose reporting for News Source with the very latest. Welfare officers and counselors attached to the Ministry of Education were exposed to training in the area of restorative justice today as the government moves to integrate restorative practices into the school system. Restorative practice, particularly in schools, encourages behavior that is supportive and respectful. Director of the Restorative Justice Center, Orrin Boston, said when compared to corporal punishment, it produces better results.
Sometimes we fail to recognize that actual punishment, that's what we know traditionally, becomes more a hindrance than a help. Research has shown that in a lot of cases, the punitive measures we employ with the aim of correction does not necessarily do the correction. The research has also shown that restorative practices does far more remedial gives far more remedial results as it relates to amicable resolutions, as it relates to rehabilitation, and as it relates to reintegration. Because nobody wants to be expelled from a society. It was never meant to be.
Boston at the time was addressing the welfare officers and counselors during the opening ceremony of the training program at the Police Training Center. Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Legal Affairs, Adele Clark, said the Legal Affairs Ministry is pleased to partner with the Ministry of Education to roll out the program in schools as a sound option for classroom management and addressing behavioral challenges. The program comes as the Education Ministry continues to grapple with the sore issues of bullying and violence in schools. Clark said the study of restorative justice supports the use of restorative practices by educators to proactively build positive school communities.
These practices have been shown to dramatically reduce discipline, referrals, suspension, expulsions, and corporal punishment, offering a hopeful future for our communities.
As such, she said the training aims to introduce a spectrum of restorative techniques and support the implementation of guidelines in schools in addressing behavior challenges. The Permanent Secretary explained that the government, through the Criminal Justice Project, funded by the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, introduced restorative justice mechanism as an alternative method of dealing with minor misdemeanors in Guyana. It is intended to reduce the over-reliance by the criminal justice system on custodial sentences, as well as the overuse of pre-trial detention. Under the project, the foundation was laid for the restorative justice practices to become an alternative to custodial sentences for minor offenses in the criminal justice system. The government, Clark further disclosed, is moving to expand the program across the country, with restorative justice officers now being assigned to the 10 administrative regions. More news in a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one. Or one touch. Even one word. It can start with one step. Or one promise. One thrill. One first time. One deep breath. One leap of faith. One day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
The oil and gas industry is helping to transform safety standards across all sectors of Guyana. The government and industry leaders are pioneering safer offshore oil production with new legislation, updated policies, and state-of-the-art floating production, storage, and offloading vessels.
Are you ready to elevate your career with a world-class education from the comfort of your home? The University of Excellence Management and Business, UEMB, Guyana's premier accredited and recognized tertiary institution, invites you to join one or more of our comprehensive 145-degree programs. Registration is now open for our next intake on September 9 and every 2 months thereafter. Enroll now and secure a 50% scholarship. Choose from an ABA, BBA, MBA, MPM, EMBA, EMPM, and LLM degrees, available in 14 specializations. Whether you hold an undergraduate degree, a diploma, or relevant professional qualifications, apply. We are an accredited degree-granting tertiary institution in Guyana. Our programs are also equivalent to a USA Regional Accredited degree. Submit your completed application form, proof of entrance qualification, and any form of ID. For more details, visit our administrative office in the Critchlow Labour College, front building, Wolford Avenue, or call 225-1395, 225-1397-9, 618-3434, and 681-3434. Progressing to a degree is as easy as ABC with UEMB. Deal with the best and forget the rest.
I can't wait until tomorrow.
Yes.
Start packing us, yeah?
I ain't start packing yet. Usually I pack a couple hours before and I go. Drive. I got my phone, I got my keys, my charger, my
Procrastinating planning for the future? Well, that's never a good idea. Let Demerara Mutual and Demerara Fire and General help you get started with planning for your future today. I'm with Dem.
Hundreds of sugarcane workers at Blairmont Sugar Estate downed their tools today over a number of issues. The workers are calling for additional pay. Opposition spokesman on agriculture and Member of Parliament for Region 5, Vince Roy Jordan, told News Source that the workers who are attached to the harvesting unit of the estate are tasked with detrashing the sugarcane in preparation for production, but without any additional remuneration. The situation, he said, did not sit well with the workers, causing them to protest.
They would have done tools basically refusing to have to detrash canes and be forced to do excess work based on the orders of the supervisors without being paid for the additional work to get the cane to the standard and quality that the factory would require of it.
Detrashing refers to the removal of unwanted leaves and other materials from the cane. MP Jordan said the workers have been in contact with their union representatives within the Guyana Agricultural and General Workers Union.
But they have said very clear that they are not prepared to work under those conditions.
According to the MP, it is now up to the union representatives and their members to determine if the protest will continue for another day as they hold talks with the Guyana Sugar Corporation, Gaisuco, on the issue at hand. A new Northwest Secondary School was commissioned on Monday, 3 years after the school was gutted by fire. At the commissioning ceremony, President Ali noted the investments made by the government in the region's education sector, explaining that the investments are aimed at ensuring every child has equitable access to quality education. The president said the government is focused not only on providing the necessary educational infrastructure, but also on ensuring that trained teachers are available to deliver equitable service.
And to date, in Region 1, for maintenance and construction alone, we've invested $4 billion to make your teaching and learning environment better. And if you go, I can go through the long list of schools that we have done in this region, maintenance work that we have done, and you will see it touch every single corner of the region.
Further, the president noted that the government's overall investment in education since 2020 has topped $7 billion. He said in Region 1 alone, more than $1.8 billion has been given to children through the Because We Care cash grant initiative.
These are real investments, all geared at making your life easier. Because we understand when your life is easier, less stress, less burden, we are creating a much more comfortable learning environment for your children.
It was also noted that steps are being taken to close the education gap that exists between the hinterland and the coastland.
By 2030, we want your children in the hinterland and riverine communities not only to have access to quality education, but have access to quality training. Now you may say, what is the difference? It's exactly what Minister Manichan said. How are we going to ensure that every opportunity in the education training matrix is available to you? So by 2030, in all the major centers in the hinterland community, we want state-of-the-art practical instruction centers and technical institutions that will give you world-class certification from right here in your communities.
Meanwhile, Minister of Education Priya Manichan stated that the Northwest Secondary School will receive further interventions to ensure the highest quality of education is offered. The new two-story facility can accommodate 575 students and includes 23 classrooms, 3 science laboratories, a technical drawing room, 4 canteens, 8 washroom facilities, and 2 modified elevators.
The Guyana Elections Commission GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31st, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. How to apply for registration? You must visit the GCOM registration office that is responsible for the registration of persons from your area of residence to apply for registration or name change or correction. You must be in possession of the following source documents as might be relevant: original birth certificate or valid Guyana passport for new registration, original marriage certificate and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by way of marriage, original deed poll and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by deed poll, original naturalization certificate and original birth certificate or valid passport in the case of naturalization. This registration exercise will end on November 29th, 2024. For further information, please contact GCOM on the following hotline numbers: 225-027729, 226-6557, 223-9650, or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Monster, bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors, that my crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster, grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Buster, bust the flavors. Buster, bust the flavors.
Restating a commitment to abolish income taxes for low-wage workers, the opposition People's National Congress Reform (PNCR) has proposed an increase in the income tax threshold to $400,000 as part of the plans it will introduce once it gets into power. The party said the tax threshold increase alone would benefit more than 210,000 workers. Over the weekend, the party offered clarification on its proposal, explaining in a statement that the move to raise the tax ceiling will serve as a tax allowance, producing the double impact where those who earn $400,000 a month and less will pay no taxes, while persons earning more than $400,000 a month will only pay taxes on the difference. The party believes its proposal would move the needle in the lives of over 210,000 workers, including more than 54,000 from the public sector and another 150,000 from the private sector, in addition to self-employed persons. Additionally, the opposition party has pledged to raise the salaries of all government employees by 35% should it return to government. It is also looking to implement a number of social programs that it believes would address poverty, economic insecurity, and inequality. Further, the party announced that it intends to increase corporate tax revenues, increase tax compliance by encouraging high-income earners to pay their full contributions, increase the collection of VAT as consumers spend more on goods and services, and create a sense of shared prosperity and shared destiny. The PNCR believes that the proposed measures are practicable and sustainable, pointing out that in 2023, the government received approximately $74 billion in personal income taxes. The PNCR said its tax-free threshold and tax allowance of $400,000 a month initiative take effect, it would initially cost around $40 to $50 billion annually, less than 4% of government's expenditure. Its other proposals include a monthly child care allowance of over $10,000 for all children up to 16 years old and an additional sum of $2,500 per month for nutrition. It said it will fully subsidize rent, mortgage, travel, water, electricity, and cooking, and will not only make the University of Guyana tuition free, but will also provide students with a monthly stipend of $50,000. A preliminary report on the 2022 population and housing census will be released soon, the Bureau of Statistics said, while refuting claims of political interference and a drop in the country's population. In a statement this afternoon, the Bureau of Statistics said claims suggesting that the publication of the 2022 census is being delayed as a result of political interference are simply erroneous. The Bureau said any delay in the publication of the 2022 census results is strictly as a result of its unwavering commitment to professional diligence in the face of considerable challenges encountered during this census round. It said, like Guyana, other censuses across the Caribbean region have been significantly delayed, with countries such as Barbados, Grenada, Jamaica, Dominica, and St. Lucia experiencing protracted census activities extending up to and beyond 2 years. The Bureau said it is dedicated to ensuring appropriate statistical confidence in the accuracy of the census results and is not politically constrained as suggested by some. The Bureau also dispelled claims that the 2022 population and housing census shows that Guyana's population declined from 746,955 in the 2012 census due to migration. It said the soon-to-be-released preliminary report of the census will provide an evidence-based exposition of Guyana's population. The Bureau of Statistics said as a semi-autonomous agency, it operates in conformity with the Statistics Act and is guided by the fundamental principles of the official statistics that were adopted by the UN General Assembly in 2014. It said its legal framework and official principles promote and ensure its independence. Regional carrier Caribbean Airlines has announced that it will be operating 2 flights per week from Guyana to neighboring Suriname. The airline will also be increasing the number of flights it operates to Suriname from Trinidad and Tobago to 4 flights per week. The flights from Guyana will operate out of the Eugene F. Correa Airport at Ogle to Suriname's Johan Pengel International Airport. The airline sees the move as part of a wider plan to expand its services to more destinations in the region. There are 2 other airlines that operate regular scheduled services to Suriname from Guyana. Caribbean Airlines also announced new services to Tortola in the British Virgin Islands from Trinidad and Tobago, as well as a regularly scheduled service to Guadeloupe. The airline's chief executive officer, Garvin Madeira, recently stated that as a regional airline, Caribbean Airlines remains committed to enhancing connectivity across the Caribbean. He said the airline is now serving 24 destinations across the region.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. It is the civic duty and legal responsibility of all persons who meet the eligibility requirements to apply for registration. By doing so, you will be ensuring that you are issued a national identification card and be included in the official lists of electors for future elections, providing you meet all eligibility criteria. Persons could be prosecuted, fined, or even sent to prison for failing or refusing to apply for registration. This registration exercise will end on November 29, 2024. For further information, contact GCOM on 225-0277-9 or visit the website www.gcom.org.gy.
What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one. Or one touch. Even one word. I can start with one step. Or one promise. One thrill. One first time. One deep breath. One leap of faith. One day to remember. Or one night to forget. One moment. So many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
Across the region tonight, Caribbean Airlines Limited pilots represented by the Trinidad and Tobago Airline Pilots Association, TTALPA, delivered a letter to the Trinidad and Tobago Minister of Finance yesterday. They also held a silent demonstration outside the Eric Williams Financial Complex along Independence Square, Port of Spain. Dressed in their full uniforms, the pilots gathered outside the financial complex and voiced their frustration over prolonged delays in salary negotiations, having worked under expired contracts for the past 9 years. They cited concerns about job security, lower wages compared to foreign pilots, and the airline's proposal of a 20% salary cut. The pilots also criticized the government for what they called its inadequate response to their proposals, which have further delayed negotiations. During the protest, they delivered the letter to Imbert, under whose purview Caribbean Airlines falls. Supporters of former Bolivian President Evo Morales have clashed with police after a prosecutor said she would order his arrest. Morales, who governed Bolivia from 2006 to 2019, is under investigation for alleged statutory rape and human trafficking, which he denies. The accusations against the 64-year-old have resurfaced ahead of presidential elections next year, in which he plans to run. The prosecutor announced she would issue an arrest warrant after Morales failed to attend a hearing in the case last week. Tension has been high in Bolivia for months, with supporters of Morales clashing with those of current President Luis Arce. Both men belong to the governing Mass Party and are battling over who will be the party's candidate in the presidential election scheduled for August 2025. 3 weeks ago, the two rival groups of supporters came to blows in the city of El Alto. The investigation into Morales has further heightened the already volatile atmosphere. And finally tonight, international news. The U.S. has written to Israel, giving it 30 days to boost humanitarian aid access in Gaza or risk having some U.S. military assistance cut off. The letter sent on Sunday amounts to the strongest known written warning from the U.S. to its ally and comes amid a new Israeli offensive in northern Gaza that has reportedly caused a large number of civilian casualties. It says the U.S. has deep concerns about the deteriorating humanitarian situation, adding that Israel denied or impeded nearly 90% of humanitarian movements between the north and south last month. There was no comment from Israel, which says it is targeting Hamas operatives in the north and not stopping the entry of humanitarian aid. On Monday, the Israeli body which manages crossings into Gaza said 30 lorries carrying aid from the World Food Programme had entered northern Gaza through the Erez crossing. That ended a 2-week period during which the UN said no food aid was delivered to the north and supplies essential for survival were running out for the 400,000 Palestinians there. The U.S. is by far the biggest supplier of arms to Israel, and the Israeli military has relied heavily on U.S.-supplied aircraft, guided bombs, missiles, and shells to fight the war against Hamas in Gaza over the past year. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Alana Bose reporting for News Source. Have a good night.